I want to talk to you about what leadership is. The key to becoming a great leader is empowering leaders around you. Build into your life a routine that leads you to godliness and leads you to a place of being ready and available for God to use you that day. Hey, welcome everybody to the Leadership Lean In podcast. This is exciting, episode number 3. And hope that you've been enjoying it. We've had 2 fantastic episodes, but I think episode 3 is going to absolutely dominate and crush, like these terms. The last 2. Hey, do me a favor. Make sure you subscribe on whatever platform you are listening to. If you're on YouTube or iTunes, subscribe, rate it. It helps us. If you put in a review, write down what you're learning, and if you're being encouraged by it. We hope that you are. This is kind of our fun, exciting thing that we're starting to create, Leadership Lean In. And the phrase lean in for me really is what I want to personally do for leadership. And that's lean into it and try and become as good of a leader as I possibly can. And so I think the way that I get better at leadership is just by talking to friends about the subject. And so we've had 2 other friends come on, Pastor Jeremy Foster, Pastor Rich Wilkerson Jr. And today I am joined by 2 people that really mean a lot to me, actually. Some of my closest friends in the whole world are here with me. They actually helped start our church, and we've been friends for, I think I've been friends with you for 10 years.
Yeah.
And Erin?
More than 10. I want to beat it, but 7.
7 years. So you lose.
Yeah.
7 years. We know each other from Seattle, moved down to LA together to start a church, and we still attend each other's kids' birthday parties.
That's real friendship.
That's real friendship.
Yeah.
We still help each other move houses.
Also real friendship.
That's coming up. Real friendship. But this is Erin Eisman. He's on staff at our church and leads all of our worship and production. No big deal. Put out an album this last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you sing on the album at all?
I am not singing on the album, no, but
did you write,
to.
Did you add a lyric at all? You were there for every song that was written.
I was there for every song.
You contributed like Quest bars and coffees.
Yes, and late nights.
But you were there for every moment of that album.
Yes,
next one, I think you need a bar or 2.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking Quest. I'm talking about they need to let you in on a lyric. Like, even if it's just like, God's good.
I don't know why they didn't choose any of the lyrics that I presented.
Well, the problem is you're the boss.
Yeah.
So you can choose whatever you want. I'm
going to write my own song.
You choose you next time.
Yep.
Pal. And this is Erica Bosco. Erica leads all of our marketing and social media communication. And we refer to her as Erica the Boss Bosco. How long have you had that nickname?
Like since I've known you. Well, I had a different last name, so a long time.
Yeah, long time. And Erin, you've got a great nickname. Erin the Iceman Eisman.
Yeah.
It's kind of our thing that I feel like if you don't have a nickname, you really don't count.
You're not a real person.
You're really not.
Everyone's like considering if they have a nickname now.
Yeah, like my kids actually refer to you, except for Iceman, but they refer to you guys by your nicknames.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tia.
I'm Tia to the kids.
Tia and Kel Dog. Your wife is Kel Dog. Maybe you don't mean that much to my kids because they don't call you Iceman.
Ouch.
But they do call you Erin.
Yeah.
They do call you Erin. You matter. These guys are unbelievable leaders in your own right who I highly respect and look to for so much. And I'm excited to talk to you guys about the subject of leadership. I want to jump right in. By the way, coming up today, we've got 2 new segments I'm excited about. We're going to go top 5, which is going to be top 5 things I want to tell you about leadership today. I think you're going to love that segment. And then we're going to go towards the end of the podcast. We're going to do rapid fire. So a couple things to look forward to. But I want to jump in. I want to ask you both. I've known both of you really since you were leaders in the church.
Yeah.
And before you were ever on staff at anywhere or anything. So I've kind of watched your journey. Tell me about, and Erica, we'll start with you. Ladies first, Erin.
He's like,
I had something.
You want to be on the album now?
Yeah,
Do you want to go first
Erin,
now?
Simmer.
LA's changed you. You're a different guy.
I'm not.
It's these headphones have changed you.
Yes.
You look good in these headphones.
Thanks. I look good.
Yeah, you look great.
The beanie good?
suspect. But I want to talk. When did you know? For 2 parts. When did you know that you were a leader? One, and then what was the moment for you to discover you're like, I think I'm supposed to be a leader in the church?
Yeah.
What was that for you?
Yeah, I think I've always felt that natural, like I'm down to go. I'm down to start, the vibe in the room. I'm down to be crazy. I'm down to do that. And so even like in elementary school, junior high, I would always be running like for ASB president right. And then I'm like, maybe that's because I want to be in charge and so I think I identified my leadership skills as like a young girl. But I didn't get saved until I was like 18. And so I think because of the life that I had experienced and getting saved at that age, it was very pivotal for me. I understood, like I always felt like I'm going to do something great.
Wow.
But it really impacted and changed my life when I understood, I was made for greatness for God.
Wow.
And that changed my life.
Wow.
And I think, I've told this story, but I got saved on Easter and I remember feeling like in the moment, my life would never be the same.
Wow.
And so I think once I understood I was always made this way, now I understand the purpose behind it.
Wow.
Now I can go and live that out. And so Julia has this funny story. I was an intern with you and Julia.
Yeah.
And I saw her in the lobby and she's like, how's it going? And I'm like, Julia, this is so amazing. I would clean the bathroom with my toothbrush right now. Like, what? First of all, no, I never would do that. Like, I would never.
But you were just pumped.
But I was like amped. Like, I'm like, this is awesome. So yeah,
Wow.
I, like 18, 19 is when I really felt that in my life.
Yeah.
And I've never, ever looked back. I've never not like served in church since then. And it's changed my life.
I have this image of you being in high school. You showed me a photo years ago. You're a cheerleader.
Yeah.
Tell me your high school colors were they green, yellow, and white?
They were green and gold. I was a cheerleader, so I have to say the right. It's green and gold.
Green and gold. But
Go Cowboys.
I remember this.
Yeah.
And I can see you being a leader in your school and being a leader in church. I always think of that thought, God didn't make you one way to use you another.
Exactly.
So if God has made you that, like I remember growing up, my dad used to say, Chad, you're either going to sell cars or you're going to sell Jesus, but you're going to sell something.
Yeah.
And it's like these were your natural giftings, but until you discover, wow, God gave me all this gift to glorify his name, not mine. That realization though is so comforting. And when I love what you said there, because when you do discover it, you're like, I'll clean toilets with my own toothbrush because I'm just so honored.
Yeah.
It's something bigger than me.
Right.
What a great feeling.
Yeah.
Did you do cartwheels and jumping jacks? And did you go like, go fight, win?
I was like a real full-on cheerleader that like did stunts and stuff.
You did the stunts.
I wouldn't
Were you
claim
ever
that
dropped?
it was a sport. No, Chad. I was not a flyer. I was a base.
Okay.
Okay, now this is going south quickly.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
I would never trust anyone to like throw me in the air.
I always feel like when they're up there, I'm like,
What are your parents thinking?
I just hope this ends well. I remember my sister, she was the flyer, and it ended poorly one time, and I got mad at the people at the bottom. Like, you dropped my sister, man. But like, what am I going to do? Like, am I going to go fight the male cheerleader? I'm not going to fight the cheerleaders. I'm not, but I was upset for my sister.
Yeah.
Erin, let's go to you.
Bethany.
We're digressing quickly. Shout out to my sister. Erin, you talk to me about that for you. You're a leader. But when did that happen? How was that process?
It would be the same. Like in high school, I was the ASB president and the most popular kid. Just kidding. Like I wasn't either of those.
I wasn't either of those.
But I was the captain of our basketball team.
Right.
And I just think you can learn a lot about someone just from playing sports with them.
Right.
And just like playing sports, playing basketball, I just had this ability where people would just follow me.
That's
and
cool.
I could kind of, I was the catalyst. That's kind of what my coach would always say is you're the catalyst of the team. So I could get the team energized if we didn't have any energy.
Right.
And people just had this, wanted to be around, and I love being around people. I love being in that setting. And, after high school, I was kind of fell away from church, stopped going to church, and I was able to lead people actually the opposite way from God. And And then this one moment in a service, God really touched my life and was like, the way that you're leading people away from the things of me, I'm gonna use you to bring people to him.
It's amazing.
And that's when I was like, yep, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get people to the room, get people into the service, get people just to get touched by God. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, the same tactics and things I was doing to get people kind of to do the wrong things, I'm using to do the right things.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Give people a more insight into leading people in the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
You were doing what kind of activities to lead
so
people
I
in the wrong
was
stuff?
selling drugs.
Okay. So
Yes.
drug dealer. Okay.
I was a drug dealer.
I
One
just
of
need to
those,
get that clear.
Yeah.
Hopefully the police don't hear this. I'm just kidding. Everything's good, but I think. But yeah, I was just selling drugs and going down the wrong path, and my house ended up getting raided, and I was on trial. But that's when really right when I got out, I just was like, I'm going to give God my entire life.
Wow.
And just to see what God's done in my life, just from being in church, he's given me the most amazing family.
Right.
I'm living my best life just from making that decision to lead and be involved in church.
And so you said the cops raided your house. What happened with that? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so they came in and just went to jail.
Yeah.
And I had a moment in jail, but it took 3 years. So they had 3 years to get me in front of a judge and charge me. So I didn't know what was my future within those 3 years, and it ended up being that all the charges were dropped.
It's amazing.
And yeah, it was unbelievable.
I think it's pretty cool because, when I look at your story in your life, it always encourages me to know, no one is too far gone.
Yeah.
You had a sense, you're a catalyst of your high school basketball team and you're a leader on your campus and people love you and you have this natural gift. But no matter where you go, the twists and turns of all of our journeys, God, I think, is so good. He'll pursue us relentlessly and find us in our worst place. Here you are in a jail cell, and you have a moment of realization that I'm created to do something bigger and better with my life. Yeah. And you can hit rock bottom and kind of discover God's design for your life. It's, I get so encouraged. And you have, of course, made thousands of decisions to set your life up for success since that moment. Yeah. But it encouraged me, your life always encouraged me, for anybody I interact with, nobody's too far gone.
Yeah.
Family members, friends, nobody's too far gone from how awesome God is. So bow your heads, close your eyes. I start preaching.
No, I made all that up.
I got so Ephesians 2, Chad, that's out of context. Okay. I want to talk about both of you guys oversee creatives. Mm-hmm. A lot of them, whom I love. I love creative people. I love interacting with creatives. We live in a city filled with them. I almost use the word infested, but that's not the accurate term. Just very extreme language. Yeah. But you work with creatives. Talk to me, Erica. You built our social media and are very good at social media.
Thank you.
Talk to me about how you used social media to build a church. Yeah. How did you use social media to get the word out about what was happening, and how do you continue to stay with the trends, because it changes so much? Yeah. How talk to me about social media.
I think one, we built Zoe's Instagram by accident.
Right.
It was our main form of communication to anyone that wanted to know about Zoe, where we were going to be every week. And we kind of just thought, well, if we have an audience in front of us, let's use it and let's encourage whoever's here. And let's take people's natural giftings. And you see it all over Instagram. Photographers' careers take off photographing one person.
Yep.
Writers that write copy, if you're very witty or something like that, your gift can be used that way. And so we just said, okay, let's take our team and let's be creative and let's put something out, what's already in culture, and let's be a part of that in a way that's innovative and new and fresh. And I think what makes us refreshing is that we're just us all the time.
Yeah.
And it can be very easy to try to keep up with all of the trends, but I think what we're doing is you're already going to scroll through your phone every day on Instagram, whether you admit it or not.
Yeah, you are.
Definitely what you're doing.
Yeah, you're definitely doing that.
So why don't we get on your screen and encourage you and remind you that you're not alone. Social media actually can be very isolating. It takes away like a face-to-face conversation. But I think being able to be in that space for people and remind them there's community for you. There's a God that loves you. And here's a picture to remind you. I think it's like
here's a
unifying.
Photo of Erin writing an album
and singing his own lyrics
and eating the Quest bar
on the song.
That can encourage you.
Yeah.
Are you not encouraged?
You should be.
You should be encouraged.
Keep going back to that.
And I think you should just be having fun. Like I think that creatives want to feel like the work that they're putting out is fun and people love it. And
I remember a great compliment to what you did. I was in the elevator one time coming down from a restaurant here in LA, and this lady gets on, and I'm being loud, very rare occasion.
Wait.
Yeah.
And this lady's like, "Oh my gosh, what do you do?" And so I told her. Eventually, at first I was like, I'm a rapper, or I can't remember what I said. But
he has like a secret SoundCloud we don't know about.
Yeah, right. Oh, I need to do that. But I, eventually tell her, I'm a pastor. You need to come to my church. It's called Zoe LA, and she says, "Stop. You lead Zoe." She said, "I run marketing for the NBA and all of our social media, and we study your church." Wow. As one of the accounts that we're inspired by.
Wow.
And that was a crazy moment for me to think, because I always think, just growing up in the church, I always think opposite, that we study everybody. I hate to use these terms, but like out there.
Yeah.
Like an us, them. I don't like that mentality, but the church is always trying to keep up with hype beasts, upscale, fashion trends, Off-White, but Fear of God, fill in the blank. We're trying to keep up with them, but it was the first time the NBA was saying, we love the way you do social media, which is really just saying that, they love the way you do and your team and all of our people that lead the social media space do it. But I think that some people, I don't, it bothers me when everybody gets down on social media. Because I've only seen it as a tool to be able to spread what's going on and good things. So it's nebulous.
That's a great word.
Nebulous.
Spell it.
It's all
we can.
NEB. Time's running out. Yeah. But it's all about whose hands is it in?
Yeah. Right. Yes.
You put an Xbox in some kid's hand that's 15 years old is going to spend 12 hours on it. It's like money. It's all about who owns it and runs it. And I think if we can use social media to spread good things and be passionate and creative about it, we can actually reach people on their phones. We've built a church truly in this city on going, we're gonna do everything we can to create good content and have good design and let our photographers, instead of having their gift just be used, at weddings and photo shoots, they can be used in the church.
Yeah.
And I think that's been really, really powerful and really fun to see.
Yeah.
People's gifts at work.
Yeah.
Do you use social media?
Yeah, I was the ASB president and the most popular kid.
You use social media because the other day I was talking to somebody and they were talking about how whether you or your wife posted Bowie in the coffee shop the other day at Blue Bottle running around.
Yeah.
Was that you or your wife? Me. See? That was great. And people were talking about your social media.
Influencer.
But I haven't posted on my actual feed in a month and a half.
What if today we...
Yeah, we should change that.
Could we get on your feed?
Of course.
We should take a pic.
Would you tag me? It's my favorite thing someone socially says. Hey, tag me.
No.
Make sure you tag me in that. Or hey, you tagged the wrong person. I didn't tag the wrong person on accident.
At that point, you let it go,
Yeah, just let it go.
Just tag the wrong person on purpose.
Hey, send me that photo. If you ask for someone to send you the photo and they don't send it to you, it's kind of a clue they don't want you to post it.
They don't look good in it.
They don't look good in it.
But you probably do.
Or they don't want to be. They don't want to be seen with you.
Do you take an account of how everyone looks in the photo?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Are you serious?
Have to.
It
no
could
mercy.
be 12 people or 3 people.
And you're like,
I'm only looking for me.
Okay.
And this is what happens to me is I post the photo and Julia's like, take that down.
Yeah.
I look terrible. And I'm like, I forgot to look at you in the photo. this is no longer nebulous.
Zoom in on your face.
Yeah.
And then, yep, we're good.
How about the whole Zoom thing? The Zoom thing has really changed everything.
The Zoom's kind of savage. But I love it.
It is the word savage because you zoom in, you're like, oh, that looked different.
Nice.
From a distance. That facial reaction. I want to go to you, Erin, because you oversee worship in production. Talk to me about worship leaders even people on the worship team. I think you have the opportunity to bring to me what is a lot of times my favorite part of church. I'm saying that as a preacher. My favorite part of church is worship. I don't know why. It's just always been my favorite part. I love the singing. I love a good worship set. I love when worship, for what I don't have a better term, goes there. It's just electric and the atmosphere is dynamic. Talking about leading that team in that space, and what are some ways that you've been able to, let me explain my question a little bit more, like preface this. You have the challenge, especially in a city like this, to discern between character and talent. Because there's a lot of talented people in the worship space, in the worship industry, but the character isn't always there. How have you been able to build a worship team, that is, for lack of a better term, anointed and has the authority, but has good character? How's that been for you leading that whole thing?
It's definitely been a journey, starting from the beginning. But I love that this whole year we've been talking about just character over talent.
Right.
And really you can kind of just discern it off just the natural ability of someone's spirit and what they're carrying and intentions. Our worship team is so strong. Everyone has character.
Right.
But everyone has talent.
Sure.
But yeah, it's just been one of those things where I've had to definitely journey through trying to discern that kind of stuff. And is someone only going to be available once a month? Is someone willing to sacrifice their whole day? Are you playing maybe at another church? Are you playing all that kind of stuff? Really, we want people planted. We want our teams just Zoe breathed, Zoe culture. And it's definitely, sometimes if you don't have a keys player, you got to still figure it out and get a keys player. Yeah. But majority of the, mostly every single service would be people that are diehard, building church, building God's house. It's definitely just been something I'm still trying to learn and walk through. But definitely, since the EP and all that kind of stuff, our team and the tour that we went on, our team has just stepped up a whole other level with just their spirit and willing to serve, willing to do whatever it takes to make the service get to a spot. So that's really what it is just conversations, having conversations with people, having the tough conversations and seeing how people can react to the conversations, walking people through it. Don't just write people off, of course. It's definitely been something, especially with the two locations, balancing two locations and having the same standard at two locations, setting a, this is how even the little things that this is how we dress on platform. These are the ways that you can address the congregation. All those kind of little things really, matter in the standard of our.
They absolutely do. I think it was really cool. What an opportunity. We got to go on tour, this summer with Mosaic. And I was so blown away by Mosaic. Yes. It was moving to watch. Of course, most everybody's really good on platform. That's just kind of a given. If you're on tour, you got talent, right? That was also very moving how good they were, but their character and who they were and the premium that they placed on character. I was very moved by that. And I think sometimes in church, what can happen, and again, we're talking to really church leaders, the majority of people that listen to this podcast, is that we can fall in love with talent. I've seen it my whole life. And I've done it. We can fall in love with talent and kind of just excuse some character flaws because the talent is servicing us so well.
Wow.
The talent is building, the talent is attracting the talent. And so it's I want them to sit and this isn't right what they're doing, but man, they're good.
Yeah.
So let's, I think anytime we do this, a couple things happen. Number one, everybody knows that we're doing it.
Yeah. Yes.
Like we're not fooling anybody.
Right.
Everybody's like, so-and-so is sleeping around or so-and-so has a problem. So-and-so has got this issue, but you're sacrificing and you're actually choosing willfully talent over character. So I think you lose some credibility. I think you lose, some these headphones, man, they're big, they're weighty.
Yeah.
My head feels like I'm sinking in my chair. But I feel like you lose some equity there. And at the end of the day, you kind of feel, the second thing is you kind of feel crunchy, like, oh, why am I willingly choosing to do this? You will never regret choosing character over talent. And character sometimes doesn't sing as well or play as well. Yeah. But you know that like I love that you use the word spirit. Something resonates. There's something about right spirit. Yeah. And so I think in leadership, it's one of those things where, we don't want to walk around judging people. It's not really our job as leaders to judge. I judge you. But I think there is a difference between judgment and discernment.
Yeah. And
discernment is it's a Holy Spirit thing. And discernment says, I do need to have a convo. I do need to inquire about what's happening. I do need to. It's not about sitting people down, I think. Right. It's about journeying. Yeah. And it's about ultimately what I believe is people finding freedom. Yeah. The freedom to be themselves, the freedom relationally, the freedom from unforgiveness, the freedom from fill in the blank. And, leadership, at the end of the day, leadership is serving. Yeah. And leadership is leaning into people's world and serving them. And that's what love is. Love, by definition, love is choosing the highest good for the other person. So if I saw someone say this on social media today, if I'm someone's leader and if I don't confront them with the truth, that means I don't love the people that God's called me to serve. Yeah. Wow. So, because leading people has everything to do with serving people, and serving people has everything to do with being honest with people. And so I think and you've done it so well. Yeah. We always joke around. Erin's a bulldog.
Yeah, Erin's the best.
Whenever we get in the settings with Erin, I love this. We get into like an honor moment, and it's like at a dinner or something. Every time, this is what I love about you. Yeah. Every time people start off, when I first met Erin, they say two things. I didn't think he liked me. One, they always say, I didn't really like him. It's never like, I met this guy, love at first sight. Yeah. I want you to get that one time.
Yes. Would you say that about me when you first met me?
When I first met you, I thought,
I don't like this guy.
Wow, we got work to do. I don't know. The first time I met you was with Spencer Craker, and you were awesome.
Yeah,
I knew you liked basketball, so I was in.
Thank you guys.
I was in first time. Your wife has a different story.
No, yes.
Yeah. But I think that you are, one of those guys that's willing to have the tough conversation. Leadership really is, it's so funny when we talk about the word confrontation. Yeah. And we make such a big deal about confronting others, which I think the confrontational guy is just a weirdo.
Totally.
Like you live for confrontation, which is a recipe for everyone wants to leave you. Confrontation to me is just, at the end of the day, it's clarity. So it's not confrontation. I'm not confronting people. I'm clarifying either our expectations or God's expectations. So that's my role. My role is to just clarify, hey, the Bible says this, right? Like this is God's standards. Or, hey, for us, this is our value. I just want to clarify. I would despise living in a world where I'm the bad guy.
Yeah. Oh, well, I love that I remember you saying this, like, we're going to have a clarifying conversation.
That's it.
It disarms people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been in a clarifying conversation with you. Yeah. And it's disarming because you're like, this is for my betterment.
Yeah.
And if people are coming to find freedom, know God, discover you guys, find freedom. Like if they're doing that and then we don't have these clarifying conversations along the way in their journey, then they're going to go back to square one.
That's it.
And then they haven't really found freedom.
That's it.
They found a microphone.
Right. They found a microphone. They found a keyboard.
And then it's a disservice.
Absolutely. And I think, what are we trying to do with anybody in our space? We're trying to help get them to the next level.
Yeah.
It's like, Julie and I were talking this morning about someone that, she asked me the question this morning, who are people in our church that you want to hire right now? So I just rattled off like 10 people. And she goes, wow, that so-and-so's interesting to me. Talk to me about, them. And I go, well, I can see that, there's still some growth before they can come on staff, but man, the potential is alarming. Yeah. And the ceiling is just so high. And what are we trying to do with anybody in our space is serve them to help, get to the next level. And a lot of times in leadership, I know for my life, my journey has been, I haven't gotten to the next level working harder.
Right.
Making more sacrifice. It's usually been through conversations.
Yeah.
It's been through so-and-so inspiring me, so-and-so's challenging me, or being exposed to a better way.
Yeah.
Wow. I always think there's a better way of doing it. I just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
So I got to get around greatness. I got to get around the next level if I want to go to the next level. And people in your sphere I always think, are looking for that. They want to get around you and want to have real, I think leadership is pulling people aside and having real combos. All the time. I want to transition and keep going. And here's my next question. How have you, talk about creatives in the church. Most people have creatives. Very few churches, in my opinion, this is just whatever it's worth, know what to do with creatives in their church. And if they find one or two, they will suck the life out of those one or two for decades. How do you make room for creative people? How do you make room for, writers and designers and filmmakers and producers and songwriters and, creatives they're not the 9-to-5er and they're not the business owner. The creative people, which they sleep different hours. They have different values.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So how do you make room for creative people, Erica?
I think, like you said, creatives are they're a different breed, like a true creative, a true artist, hears differently, sees differently, talks differently. And I think that I love what you said. Sometimes we can all fall prey to this. You take two really good people and they're willing, they're awesome, they're talented, but you're 5 years down the road and they're still the same two people. And, I think it speaks less about the creatives wanting to get involved and more about the organizational process on the back end of the creative team.
That's great.
And I think if you know where you're going, you know how many people you need to get there. And then it just opens up space for people. And
hold on, say that again. If you know where you're going, you know how many people you need to get there.
Yeah.
That is genius. Yeah. That is so right.
And I learned that the hard way.
Do tell. I'm kidding.
And I think we can just box ourselves into, well, if I can just get one person to do this,
right?
Then you're just reacting to all of these maybe deadlines that you need to get something out. But if we can get a little bit more organized on the back end, we can project a project 3 to 6 months down the road or whatever it looks like.
Yep.
And you can then now speak that creative's language and serve them as their leader. And say, here's space for you to honor God with your gift. And here's space for you to serve the church like you desire, like we all desire.
Yeah.
You've always said this, people want to be known and needed.
Yeah.
And that doesn't, every personality type wants to be known and needed.
Yeah.
And so I think it's identifying how they are known and how they are best needed and how to cultivate more creativity.
Yeah.
And then on the other end, making sure that in a godly way, they're understanding your gift is to be yielded to God. And once your gift is yielded to God, the creativity flows and you're willingly there.
Wow.
And so I think it's two parts.
Yeah, I love that. Something you said, I think is so true. I am always amazed at how upset creatives get when you give them a small window to create.
Yeah.
Like if you give like Erica's husband Roman's one of the best designers in the world.
Yeah.
And if you give him a week, it's like panic mode. Like it's just like, what? Or tomorrow. But creatives are so amazing. If you give them a 6-month rollout, they're like, I'll create the best thing in the world for you. Mm-hmm. So I always think with creativity, it always goes back to preparation.
Yeah.
It's that whole saying, preparation brings forth freedom. Mm-hmm. Or we sweat in preparation so we don't bleed in battle. That creativity, you do such a good job of this, when you are on top of your calendar and on top of your schedule, which goes back to always, I think, in a great creative ecosystem, you have to have great administrators and great managers,
yes,
great systems and structures to set up creatives to do the creating and other people running the management.
Yes.
Those are two different skill sets. Yeah. So it's like everybody matters.
Right.
Everybody plays a part, even within creativity.
Right.
Aaron's a huge part of our creative world, and I wouldn't call him the most creative person, but he's a great manager.
Right.
And you need in the creative ecosystem, you got to have people that are running calendars and guidelines and all of that, and then people within that sphere, film, design, whatever, stage design. You got to have them going like, okay, you've set me up with 3 months, 6 months. Now I can create.
Well, and I think also learning their process helps you understand what you're asking.
Yeah.
I remember like watching my husband, Roman, you're the best.
We love you.
I remember like watching him. I have the ability to say, this is what I want it to look like. This is exactly the feel I want it to be. And then watching him make it. And I'm in my head thinking like, that took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to take. Or vice versa. Like, oh, I know what's not going to take that long. And learning like this, like the substance of that process.
Yeah.
Also just helps create really good relationship with creatives. I think sometimes we assume like that can't take that long. Yeah. Or that's going to take a really long time. So we almost give them too much time.
Right.
So, which also is not a good thing.
Absolutely.
So I think Erin and I think we were talking about this. Like, I didn't realize how long it took to like edit this one thing. And so it just helps you know what you're asking for.
Right. I think you said on the second part of the answer, something that it made me think of this idea that I grew up in the church where people are always like, all these people got their start in the church. And then they went out and they made other music. But, if they were in the church, they would, that whole attitude. Yeah. And this is my belief. I don't believe that when you're out, again, I hate these terms, us, them, but when you're not making music that glorifies God, I don't think your creativity gets zapped whatsoever. No. And the proof is in the pudding that, on the way in today, I'm listening to the radio. And on the radio, this is my thought. I hit 102.7, I hit 105.9, I hit 92.3. And as I went through every song, my thought going through all three stations was, my goodness, the production on these songs are so insane.
Yeah.
And so I think the difference, though, is that when you start creating and producing things for the glory of God, you're more fulfilled.
Yes.
So it's not that creativity gets zapped.
Yep.
It's that your creativity is for something bigger than yourself.
Yep.
And it's not just to touch another human, but it is to glorify God, which I think we've been created to glorify God and bring praises to Him. So it's amazing that, you can, create out there and your gift's going to work.
Totally.
Right.
I always think that your gift's going to work, but I want my gift to work for something bigger than myself. How do you make room for creatives in your space?
I kind of have to just because of I'm not leading worship. I'm not leading worship.
Right.
I'm not producing. I'm not physically designing the merch or whatever it is.
Yeah. But, stop. I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because maybe a lot of people don't know you have successfully ran our merch, our pop-up shops, everything we sell on tour and at conference. And you have gotten articles. I say you because you made it all with the team. GQ magazine has written about Zoe merch, and fashionista.com and LA Times and all that. You quarterbacked all that. So when you talk about merch, you have a lot of experience with it.
Yeah. And I think just for me being able to release creatives and make room for creatives, it's just been something that you do so well, and you've made room for us. Mm-hmm. But also it's just like, I don't have to make the set list. And pulling my hand off of things that I can raise up, make room for people. And because I'm not leading worship, I'm not designing the merch, it's really easy to still have a lot of control and be obsessed with the control.
Right.
So it's like writing a list of just things I really can make room for someone to step in, and then there's going to be room for another creative to come in.
Right.
And it's like little things like set lists and rostering, and obviously my hand's still in it.
Yeah.
But just giving that space for people to step into, so it's not so controlling. I've learned a lot, the past year from that, just because when I first started, when I got on staff, it was just like, I'm going to do everything.
Yeah.
And I am a doer by nature. But just learning as a leader to just kind of like, people are going to make some mistakes.
Yep.
But I've made a lot of mistakes.
Right.
And people have had grace on me.
Right.
So it's one of those, just making the room, that way.
Awesome.
Has been good.
That's awesome. Talk to me about the creative process. I love this. Every night on the Hope is Here tour, everyone would ask Zoe Worship and Mosaic the same question. Talk to me about the creative process. I think people are so into, how do you make music? How do you make merch? What is the process for, maybe talk about music first. How do you write songs? What's our process? And then the merch process, because merch is I was just in Hillsong, New York this last weekend, and with those guys, they're doing pop-up shops.
Yeah.
And, a lot of churches are getting into church merch. We're not the first people to ever do it, of course, but I do, I am aware that other churches are going, oh, we can do a pop-up, we can, create a demand. Talking about the process.
Yeah, I think it all starts with the demand. So it was kind of one of those, we've been around for 3 years, and it was just time to start writing music.
Yeah.
And it was putting a demand on even a time, this is when it needs to be done.
Yeah.
Or else I feel like it would have gone on. It probably still would have been going on if we were like, we need to, have it done by this date. And we just started with, reaching out to our worship team, submitting songs, have people just submit songs.
Right.
And so we just started writing. I think this was in last year in April, actually. Yeah, maybe April. We started writing songs, and we had a couple producers in our church. They're unbelievable people, unbelievable producers, and they're helping out a ton at this point. And we'd write songs and we'd try them out in church. So we wouldn't really move forward production wise until we were like, this song's going to hit. This song's like working. So you can rework that way, because production, obviously you can spend days on production and then you end up possibly not using the song. Then we went up and did a writer's retreat. So we took a couple of our producers up. I think three separate rooms, and we just split up, and we had little segments that we'd have different people in this room, and then we'd switch it up and have other people in the room.
Yeah.
And we came back with quite a bit of songs.
Right.
But then it came kind of grind mode at the end, and we picked the 4 songs. We're like, these are the songs that need to be on
These are the ones.
The EP. And it was unbelievable. July was just kind of like just a crunch grind mode. And the team just did such a great job putting something together. It was very beautiful, I thought.
Absolutely.
Glorify God. So in a pure, new, fresh way. And we weren't really looking to do anything that was new. I want to do the new sound. It's really just, I don't like doing the same thing and getting bored.
Right.
So it's one of those, it's how can we just not get bored of the same thing?
Right.
So I think it's why sometimes you might hear some of the sounds or the rhythm on the EP that might be a little bit different than what you've heard. It's just because we're like, let's just do something.
Yeah. I love that. But I think the process is so important because, and you fumble your way through creating process. I mean, we're still as a church is, just 3 years old, trying to improve our process.
Yeah.
and process of, how does the design team work? How does the film team work? How do you make an EP? How do you distribute merch? It's to me so much about the process. I love this saying that your systems are set up to deliver the results that you're getting.
Yeah.
So you got to create a creative system. That's, to me, when creativity is at its best.
Yeah.
For us, it's all about the system.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you submit it? How do you, what's the timeline? All that kind of stuff. But I love the creating process for the EP in particular. And I'm excited. Shout out to our next project.
Yeah.
Erin's getting a bar on it.
Let's go.
Give us some right now.
Yeah. Nope. Panicked.
Don't do that to me.
He's like,
It's
I have
not
a
the
stand-up
Breakfast
bit.
Club.
This is not the
Oh, I love the Breakfast Club.
Oh my gosh. I want to start doing a segment on this podcast called The Breakfast Club. And I want to do a Charlemagne the God segment and a freestyle.
That's great.
Like how Sway in the Morning does it.
Yeah.
Sway in the Morning always pulls out the best freestyle. My favorite freestyles always come from Sway. Anyways, talking about the merch process, because that to me is the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Is making
It's so
like I like
cool.
this morning we're putting out I don't know if you know, we're putting out these tracksuits.
Yeah.
They're gonna be so fire.
I can't wait.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
How do you come up with a tracksuit and what does that look like?
First, it's just the team. Like, we have an unbelievable team of people that come to our church that serve every weekend, and they're here just, some people are really in the production, so the side of distribution and producing all that kind of stuff. But a lot of it is just having a first meeting. We have a meeting and it's, hey, what's coming up? And we never just drop something just to drop something. There's always something behind it. If it doesn't feel right, then we just won't drop it. But there's obviously some big events that we would choose to work towards.
Like your birthday or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And so there,
He's like ASB president.
you froze me. You froze me
ASB
twice.
president.
You froze me twice.
He legit was like, I don't know how to
was like,
respond
my
to this,
birthday?
man.
He's like, was there supposed to be a drop on my birthday?
I missed it.
Or did we do one?
Did
Did we do one?
I missed it.
Yeah, it's okay.
Ridiculous.
Then we just all kind of get together and pick out the blanks, what blanks we're gonna get, and then we make a deck. So it's just like, I think you asked for one today. Can I see the deck? Yeah, it's almost done.
Me asking for the deck is code for why haven't I seen
Yes.
this yet?
Yes.
Translation: why am I asking for the deck?
Yes,
Every-
and then that's when I'm like, it's on its way.
It's
and it's
coming.
gonna get done today.
And when you say it's on its way, I immediately go, I don't believe you.
well, it's on its way, as in I'm texting the team, hey guys, let's get this deck together.
Hey, we need a deck
ASAP.
in 3 minutes.
So again, we've nailed the process. We are on top of it.
Yes. Of course. Don't have your leader have to follow up with you.
Translation.
It's on its way.
That's what we are contributing today.
But yeah, then we
love
get
it.
all the stuff and then we saw it.
And then you market it.
Yeah.
Which that's when you come into play.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to ask this question. This will be our last question. How do you identify leaders? And I don't want to talk about how do you identify a worship leader or how do you identify a designer? Because the talent is always there. Again, your gift always works. So I'm not talking about doers anymore because I really don't think leaders are doers. Leaders, in my opinion, have the ability to lead other people.
Yeah.
So what are some signs for you that you're, both of you oversee massive teams and have a ton of volunteers underneath your leadership. How do you go, this person right here, I'm building with and I'm empowering because they're a leader? Erin, you start this
I'm
time
like
because you haven't
froze.
started.
I like
you
froze
haven't-
again.
Yeah, you
I
haven't
freeze
started yet. You start.
Yeah. One thing for me, it's just people that are not always asking for permission.
Great.
Specifically, let's just say in a church setting, it is. Hey, is this okay to do this or whatever? Obviously, there's boundaries for that, but just someone that's willing to just go for it. And obviously, just spirit. I know I've talked about that before, but there's just something about being around someone and you just being like, this person just has something, and it's just something that's really hard to articulate sometimes because even when like I'm around you, it's like there's just something about you that is unbelievable, and it's your personality, it's your character, all that kind of stuff. But for me, it just be like someone that not always asking for permission or getting micromanaged, has to get micromanaged. Right. Yeah. And then I feel like the people that are spending time with God, praying with God, there's going to be some sort of leadership that comes out of that.
Right.
And you can kind of just tell someone's godliness by being around them. But yeah, that would just be, what I see.
I love what you're saying, because it made me think of, Jim Collins' book, Good to Great. Mm-hmm. He talks about, if I have to motivate you, I got the wrong person.
Yeah.
What you're really saying is you're looking for self-motivated people, which both of you are. And, we really look for that within our organization. Yeah. It's like, are you a self-starter? Mm-hmm. I really stay away from people I got to always give a pep talk to. Mm-hmm. I always got to encourage. I always got to, if I got to babysit someone or micromanage someone, we got the wrong person. Yeah. But if I see a self-starter, I go, this guy's a leader. That, and who knows what it is. Could be the sign of what time they get up in the morning or how efficient they are with the area that we've given them to oversee. Mm-hmm. But self-starters, I'm always looking for them because I know we can build with them. Yeah. What are you looking for?
I think I like what you said. Like sometimes you're just like, oh, you have it. I don't know what it is, but you just have it. And I think that's, you gave a teaching where you talked about building your team, and you said character, competency, charisma. Mm-hmm. And I think about that a lot. I think what I'm always looking for is someone that I can like flow with.
Yep.
Like I can't lead with someone I can't hang with. I think that has to do with like the morale of the team. Like you could be super competent and we could just clash, and that's not going to work for me.
Right.
And I think that like builds into the morale of the team. And then I think I'm always looking for someone with resolve, someone who's just going to figure it out.
Yep.
That's going to hustle. That's honestly maybe going to see it better than me. Someone that's going to see it like have a little bit more clarity than I have on it. Great. Someone that's maybe better than me in that area that can serve it better. Someone that can teach me something is what I'm looking for in a leader. And, I think that's like it's funny that you're asking this, because we're constantly looking at our teams and saying like, who do we put in this spot? Who's the best person for this?
Always.
And it's like, who's the best fit around a table, and then who's the best fit like strategically. And so, and I think all like hustle. Like just like you said, I don't want to have to start you. I don't want to have to ask you. I just want to know you're like working hard and you're down.
That's it.
Yeah.
I love that, because, like what we talked about, character over talent. So you got character, competency, so massive. What was the third one you said? Charisma. But really what you hit on was chemistry.
Yeah.
And I would say the last one, I think John Maxwell says all these, the C's of leadership. The other one would be capacity. Like how much can this person...
Yeah.
Again, Julie and I were talking this morning. We're talking about, she's talking about who you want to hire and, demands within our world. And, when we're talking about different people, she brings up, do they have the capacity to handle all that? Mm-hmm. And I think the challenge for leadership in my world would be the same for you is, am I increasing in my capacity?
Yeah.
Or am I stuck? And how you grow in capacity, I wouldn't have all the answers on that. Yeah. I'm sure there's great books on it, how to increase your capacity. I think it goes back to always my time management. Mm-hmm. And if I'm good at time management, I can handle a lot. If my time management is out of whack, I can feel the balls dropping.
So true.
And I can feel like it's overwhelming. I never feel overwhelmed when I'm good with my calendar and I'm running my schedule. If my schedule runs me, I'm dead in the water. But if I'm on top of that thing and I'm, it goes down to little things like last night, I think I fell asleep at 9:17 p.m. I legit,
that's amazing.
9:17.
Yeah.
But I woke up at 6 this morning like, let's go.
Yeah.
I got the text about the deck.
At 6 a.m.
It was 6:12. But
it's amazing.
I can handle capacity if I do the little things in my life. Mm-hmm. Sleeping right, eating right, really being a student of my calendar, my schedule. When people are like, I'm too busy for this, I always think, if I feel like I'm too busy, it's no one's fault but mine. It's like your phone. Like, I can't let this thing run me. I have to run it.
Yep.
And leadership is that challenge of being on top of your world, and having those things. Like, I would love to be a very character, competent, charisma, chemistry, capacity. I'd love to dominate all these areas, and all of them are within my control.
Yeah.
Right.
All of them I can increase in my character. I don't look at my character. I never look at my character and go, I did it. Well, there I go.
Yeah.
Crushed it. I think character is something we're always working on.
Right.
My chemistry, I can always improve in my charisma. I get around charismatic people, like I get around like an Abner Ramirez.
Yeah.
And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
or get around like, who was I just with the other day? I was like, oh my gosh, I want to have that kind of charisma.
I just would be interested to see you in a room with someone with more charisma than you.
Yeah.
They
lots
push,
of energy
They
here.
push all my buttons.
Yeah.
So I'm
If you and Rich Jr. are in a room together,
yeah,
it's just like you want to jump out, like you just want to like climb the
I was
walls.
like, oh, let's laugh and get really loud. Like if I get with, like a Jason Kennedy, for example, I think has the most charisma of anybody. It's like, I always think it says a lot about somebody if you get around charismatic people and you get quiet. I'm just like,
Yeah.
you got exposed.
Yeah.
Because getting around other like
Me freezing.
case in point. But if you get around other very charismatic people, it should make you, I feel like, give you a pass to even be more.
Yeah.
So all of it was great. All of it is awesome. I love all of it. And okay, we're going to go to our next section, top 5. All right, episode 3, top 5 leadership hits for today, talking about leading yourself, how to lead yourself. Number 1, here's the number 1 thing you need to know. You need emotional intelligence. This is a big deal when it comes to leadership. You got to understand your emotions. I always think, do my emotions control me, or do I control my emotions? Becoming emotionally healthy is so important. A couple books to read: The Emotionally Healthy Church or Emotionally Healthy Spirituality by Peter Scazzaro. Very good read and very accurate. What we don't want to be as leaders is spiritual giants and emotional toddlers. A spiritual giant is, I live off my gift, and my gift is big. I have my talent, but emotionally, behind closed doors, I'm a roller coaster, I'm a disaster, and I tend to just react and live off my emotions. Emotional intelligence has the ability, when you are in a dark hole, you can still see the light at the end of the tunnel, and therefore you don't give into the emotions that you're in, whatever situation, storm, fire, tribulation, whatever it is. You go, you know what? I know I'm going to get through this. I know it's not always going to be this way. So I'm not going to succumb or give into my emotions. I believe one of the things every great leader accomplishes is they start to resolve, I'm going to be emotionally healthy. How do you get emotionally healthy? Get a good night rest. Have some water. Work out. Do everything you can, not just to be spiritually healthy. God wants you to succeed in every area of your life. Number 2, don't fall into the comparison trap. And this is huge because it is so foolish for you to compare yourself with somebody else. When you die, when that happens, you will not be held accountable for running another man's race. You'll be held accountable for running your race. So don't compare. In fact, it will do such a crippling service to your leadership when you're like, I'm not as good as so-and-so. I'm not gifted. I don't have the budget. No. Great leaders look at the cards that they've been given and they think to themselves, I don't want to play anybody else's cards. These cards, so-and-so thinks they have good cards. They don't even know what I have. Jealousy always presents itself by saying, I wish that I had their cards. Anger presents itself as saying, God, you didn't give me as good a cards as you gave them. No, greatness is saying, man, I'm so grateful for my story, the way God chose to raise me. I love my gift mix. I love my talent. I love what God's doing in my life in this season. And the way you combat comparison is you do it by thankfulness. I love this verse always, Proverbs 4. Do not look to the right or to the left. Keep your eyes straight before you. Keep your eyes on running your race. Number 3, write this next one down. If you're taking notes, I just said write this next one down because I'm so used to saying that. That guy. Number 3, this is just, if you want to they'll put them on the screen right now. Number 3, let your what I am be louder than your what I'm not. Let your what I am be louder than your what I am not. What I am called, I am chosen, I am gifted, I'm gifted, I'm talented. What I am has to be louder in your ear than your what I am not. Here's what happens to most of us. Most of us allow these voices in our head. Let's adequately describe those voices. Could be the voice of your pastor, could be the voice of your boss, could be the voice of your parents, could be the voice of your spouse, could be the voice of the podcast you're listening. A lot of people, when they have voices in their head, they say, my dad always used to say, or pastor used to always say, or John Maxwell, you quote somebody because you have voices. One of the dominant voices in your head is your voice. And so you've got to learn, great leaders do this, how to have good self-talk. I read a book years ago called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. Because whether you like it or not, you're always talking to you. And so when you talk to yourself, remember, you cannot be kind to others unless you're kind to yourself. You cannot be forgiving of others unless you forgive yourself. So the way you treat you is the way you treat your relationships. So I've got to get good at saying what I am is so much greater than what I'm not. I know I'm not yet who I want to be. I know I'm not yet conquering this area I'm focused on right now. That's fine. I know that I'm greater than what I'm not. If you can accomplish that, I'm telling you, you will go so far. Number 4, I love this one. Believe that people want you in the room and they want to hear what you have to say. Believe that people want you in the room and they absolutely want to hear what you have to say. I got Erin and Erica with me today, and I want you in this room, and I want to hear what you have to say, and you add so much value because you believe that. You add so much value because I want you here. Mm-hmm. And what you have to say holds weight because you've got experience, you've got authority, you've got something to say. Great leaders are always thinking, I'm supposed to be here. Number 1. And number 2, I actually add value. I've got something to say. Insecurity will always present itself by saying 2 things. I don't know if I'm supposed to be here and I should just be quiet because I don't even know if I have something to say. I was raised by a mom that told me all the time, Chad, you've got something to say. In fact, she would just say, people want to hear what you have to say. When you're a leader, you will always shy away from clarity. You will always shy away from confrontation because you'll think, I don't know if what I have to say is good enough, or I don't know if what I have to say is right. But leadership is taking that risk, having that backbone, saying every room I go into, I'm going to make it better. Every room I go into, I'm going to lift the heads. So this room is better because I'm in it. And when I'm here, I'm not just going to sit on the sidelines. I'm going to add value. I've got something to say on the subject, and I'm not going to, be a ball hog and, not play conversational tennis. But when it's my turn, when it's appropriate, I've got something to say. Here's the last thing. I love this last one. Top 5, episode 3, leadership lean in. Here's the last one. Don't let anyone break your stride. Forgiveness is more for you than it is for others. I always think this. As a leader, I can't let anybody break my stride. I've got a church to build, a family to raise. I've got things in my heart. I've got a lot on my plate, and I can't afford for anybody to break my stride. So if there's an offense, if there's an issue, there's a relational fallout, there's something that happens, we can deal with that. But I can't afford, even if I get betrayed, even if I, get abused, I can't afford for bitterness and unforgiveness to set in, because if it does, I'm going to stop running my race. Or even worse, maybe I'll just start to jog, or maybe I'll start to walk, or maybe I'll start to limp, all because of unforgiveness. Forgiveness is more a benefit for you than it is for the other person. Forgiveness is saying, I'm not going to give you that much headspace. I'm not going to give you that much real estate in my mind, in my heart. I'm letting that thing go because I know I can't let anyone break my stride. Episode 3, top 5. We out. Okay, episode 3, Leadership Leaning. I'm here with Erin the Iceman Eisman, and Erica the Bosco.
Yeah.
We're doing rapid fire. Last round. Here we go. Each of you have to answer, and we'll always start with Erica, then we'll go to Erin. Okay. Ladies first. Here we go. Longer worship set or longer message?
Longer worship. Sorry, Chad.
Longer message.
Was that genuine?
Prove it.
I don't believe you. Prove it. Hillsong United or Hillsong Worship?
Worship.
Hillsong Worship.
I love you, Joel. Read a book or an audiobook?
Audio.
No, either of those.
Let's talk later.
Freeze.
Peanut M&Ms or regular M&Ms?
Oh, peanut.
Peanut.
Okay. Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac.
Kendrick Lamar.
West Coast.
You have
I'm
to
kidding.
choose.
I know. Biggie. I would
choose Biggie. You're so
I'm just
LA.
West Coast, LA.
Biggie was such a better rapper.
Listen, I'm not debating the rapper. I'm just, my loyalty is to the West Coast.
Yeah, I love Tupac too. You know, we live here in LA to live and die, but Biggie is such a better rapper. It's insane.
No, you didn't say he's the best rapper.
Blue Bottle or Intelligentsia?
Blue Bottle.
Blue Bottle.
Blue Bottle. I feel like Intelligentsia. Whoopsies.
It's kind of like a wah-wah
Target or Walmart?
Target.
Target.
What if I chose Walmart?
My answer's
We're all gonna be the same.
You wouldn't even believe it.
No, I wouldn't.
Go to bed early and get up early, or go to bed late and sleep in.
Go to bed early.
Go to bed late.
I'm a mom. Wow.
You're a mom. You're creative. But you have to get up with your son. That didn't make sense. 90s music or early 2000s?
Oh, wow. 90s.
Early 2000s.
Like 90s hip hop rap is like,
It's the iconic. It's
Yeah.
we're talking about Biggie and Tupac. What in the
Yeah, it was
early
like-
2000s? Are you talking about Nelly? Like you're
Like,
loyal to Nelly all of a sudden?
Chingy.
Like, I don't know. It didn't make sense. Hoodie weather or tank top weather?
hoodie.
Hoodie.
Hoodie, you are from Seattle.
No,
Episode
I'm
3,
not.
Leadership Lean In. We love you. We'll see you next time. Make sure you subscribe, leave a comment. Hope you're inspired, and we'll see you soon.